Hey, sixth graders, Mr. Wagner here for social studies, and we are talking today about Greek mythology, which means the gods and goddesses, which has led to such great things as whatever that video game is on PlayStation where the guy's got like red paint on him. I can't remember what that's called. And he's like a Greek guy. I never played that one. I always wanted to, so that's why I sounded so lame there. But Percy Jackson, lots of video game stuff, magic cards for like card game magic cards, and lots of really good books and stories. And many movies are based off of stuff that's happened in Greek mythology. I'm going to talk through some notes, and then you can also just do the lesson. So I'm going to talk through the notes first. So myths are stories that teach and explain things that happened. Like you're in ancient times and you can't explain stuff that happens in nature because you don't have really good science yet. They answer things like, where do we go after you die? The afterlife, just like you learned about with Osiris and Seth. Why do we fall in love? And stuff like that. So the earliest known poets that wrote about this stuff were included this mythology in their poems were Homer and Hesiod. Homer wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey, and they are really important epic poems. They're about the Trojan War and Achilles, the hero, who's got a fatal flaw, and then Odysseus is there, and Odysseus comes up with the Trojan horse, and then he's got a fatal flaw. So they always taught a lesson. Ancient Greek beliefs and characteristics. They are tough, restless people, hard living and imaginative. They want to think about where, like, your legacy after you die. People remember you as the hero from Bordentown. It was very honorable and respectful. The gods mirrored human feelings in physical form. Let me make this slideshow bigger. I'm just like waking up, so that's probably not going to help if it's small. So they kind of believe the same thing as Egyptians. There was chaos, and then out of it, Gaia is the earth, and night, which is day. Gaia and Uranus, the sky, gave birth to Cronus and the other Titans, the Cyclopes, the one-eyed giants, and the Hecatoncheires with 50 heads and 100 arms. All these things are magic cards if you play Magic the Gathering. So Cronus and Rhea is the story you mostly know. Cronus is in the Percy Jackson novels as like coming back for revenge, right? Yeah, there's a lot of artistic nude paintings involved with the Greek gods and goddesses. So the Titans ruled, and then there's the Oracle. Cronus killed his father and took over. Cronus and Rhea married and produced these different gods and goddesses. And there was an oracle that said that Cronus was going to, I'll skip that one. Cronus was going to be betrayed by one of his kids. So then every time his wife had a baby, he like basically exiled that child by like swallowing them whole, and they were like hidden inside of him. And then his wife Rhea was sad after a while, and then took Zeus and then hid him somewhere else, which kind of sounds like Horus from Egyptians, right? You get away because your dad, is in trouble, if you will, but it's different because the dad was the trouble in ancient Greece. Osiris wasn't the trouble; his overconfidence kind of was. But in ancient Greece, the wife tricks Cronus to eat a rock, and then he's like, all right, Zeus is done. There you go. I will never be attacked. But then Zeus grows up, becomes this god, makes a deal with some monsters and Cyclopses, and gets the lightning bolt, and then the Titans are defeated, and then Zeus is the king of the gods, if you will. There's some movies, Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans, that are pretty interesting about this too. The myth of Prometheus is how humans got fire. He stole it, but then he was punished by the gods, and his liver's eaten out, like just he's basically killed by having his liver eaten every day, and then it grows back at night, and this eagle comes back and does it again. I already explained that. The Olympians are the 12 gods on Mount Olympus. Supposedly, is at the top of it is where the gods and goddesses live. Cronus and Rhea had these kids: Hestia, Hermes, Demeter, Poseidon, Hades, and Hera and Zeus. And then Zeus is the guy that came back and saved everybody. He married his sister, just like they did in ancient Egyptian gods and goddesses. He had Athena, Apollo, and Artemis with other baby mama. And the Hera and Zeus had the kids Ares and Hephaestus and Aphrodite. And that's complicated. That's another fun story. Then the slideshow goes through each of the gods and goddesses. We'll just talk about Zeus because he's like, he's married to married to Hera. They have kids, but they have lots of drama because Zeus has a lot of girlfriends, and then that leads to like the other gods and goddesses being born, or demigods. Demigods means you're half god, half man. That's like in Disney movies. It's Hercules, right? Heracles was his Greek name. So in the Percy Jackson books, they say sired. Zeus sired whoever. So Poseidon sired Percy Jackson with one of his female friends. So it's really interesting to see all the drama. It's like watching a soap opera. Maybe they just invented soap operas early because they didn't have anything else to do. So that's enough of the slideshow for now. It's just the kind of the introduction I wanted to go with. If I can leave this slideshow. Oh boy. Am I stuck in the slideshow forever? All right. So today for day 38 and 39, there's something each day. It's not as like a continuation thing. So Wednesday's assignment is you go to this bite-sized history thing for the gods and goddesses, and then you analyze the text. Basically, you're reading a little bit. They make it kind of like a cartoon. I think you looked at that website the other day, and you click on it and answer the questions. So this is where you'd read. You'd have to have that open in a tab, and it's called Bite-Sized History. Who are the ancient Greek gods and heroes? And the best analogy, by the way, I can relate is the way that you guys are so lucky to be able to watch all the Marvel movies that you watched as kids that weren't there when I was little. Those stories are awesome superheroes, but they also teach a lesson. Like Iron Man is in all the movies. He's like thinks he's so cool and so tough, and he's too overconfident, right? And then Captain America's weakness is he loves that lady from back in the 1940s when he was a young guy, and that's his weakness, right? And then what's the guy's name? When they're about to get Thanos in the first Infinity War, and then what's her name? The girl, the green skin. Thanos had to throw her over the cliff. So then the guy, what's his name? Quill. Is that his name? Quill? He loves her, so then that's his fatal flaw. So Greeks believe that everybody has a fatal flaw, and then it like will destroy you, or you have to overcome it. And we see that today in the Marvel movies a lot, right? The answers to that go right here. And just like other worksheets that we produce in 6th grade, you have to basically type your answer where the red was. So one of the things you have to do is like the god of, like Hades is the god of the underworld and the dead. Aphrodite, the goddess of love. You have to type those in from the reading. Maybe you know all this stuff, and maybe you like to read the Percy Jackson books already. It's good too. Okay, and then you answer these, and in the directions, it says, don't actually push turn in. I can't show you that because on the top of my screen, it would be right here. On your screen, it's like attach, turn in. You can't hand them in because it's only one assignment here. So you have to do both day 38 and day 39, Wednesday, Thursday, before you can push hand in. Then when you push hand in, then you're good for both, because in the grade book, I believe it counts as one day. Otherwise, if I only see that you did one, I'd give you a 50. And that's sad. And you're like, There will also, this is like, pay attention. Da-da-da. There is a 10-question quiz that comes out on 1 p.m. on Thursday. It's about the gods and goddesses. You can only answer once, right? And then if you bomb it, same thing goes as before. There'll be a spot that you can make your own quiz and hand it in. Some students, I want to give a shout out to some that did do that. They weren't doing too well on the quiz the first time, so they made one, and then it helped them. This is a thing I'm concerned about. So some of you still haven't handed in the essay on Egypt. I can help you with that. If you email me, I can arrange like a Google video hangout it's called, or meet. And a couple of you can come in and we can talk about the essay. It's very easy, the one about Egypt. It's like how the Nile influenced them. It's like, hello, how, come on. Then some of you didn't hand in the last quiz on Thursday. So they still owe me that. Because after a while, I have to submit an email to Mr. Inno that says, these 6 children didn't do the quiz. I'm requesting the ability to give them a 0. So yesterday, I sent an email to all the parents that I could get in contact with and called the houses of the students who didn't do the Egyptian essay. Today, I'll be contacting anybody who didn't do last week's quiz and their parents. And then after I've done that, I have to tell the guidance counselors. Then I have to tell Mr. Inno, and then that goes in the grade book as a 0, and it's just really hurting your grades. Your grade can drop like 20 points in one day for the marking period if you get like a 0 for a quiz or test. So you have to be very careful and just do all the work. If you need extra time, you just have to email me and say, I plan on handing it in this day. Don't say I need more time, because that's just an empty comment. I'd say I will do it by X day. So you say I'll do it by Thursday. Okay. So today's lesson is going to be pretty fun. The gods and goddesses and Athens and Sparta are really neat subjects that I miss when I don't teach 6th grade. But and then Thursday's the Olympic Games. It was a neat competition. You'll learn about how they stopped war and then just had the Olympics and then went back. They had weird events like wrestling and what's the other one? Like MMA kind of, sort of. So the Olympics has like a bunch of different answers. Like it was in like, what was it? Olympia, I believe. So then you have to answer questions for that. And those questions are here, and there are red spots where you need to write your answers in. Right, it's typed in red. So that's it for this 2-day and a half period, if you will, for Wednesday, Thursday, day 38 and 39. Do well. And if you have any questions or comments, please email me, rwagner@hamilton.k12.nj.us. R. Wagner. Okay. Good luck, everybody. And we will see you next video, which is Friday. Friday, if you check on Google Classroom, I will have a link to a couple of times you can go in for extra help on a Google Hangout. Thank you.